Hi, Susan. How are you this morning? I'm just getting warmed up.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It sounds like it's raining cats and dogs wherever you are.
Oh, dude, it is coming down. It's so
Yeah, we
nice
had.
sitting on the.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's just nice sitting out here on the back porch.
Yeah, we had torrential rains, come in, and it was crazy.
Where
Um,
are you? Where are
I'm in
you at?
California.
Oh, I'm in Florida.
Right. Well, it rolled through. The cold front rolled through. We had the clouds come in. Then it started to rain a little bit. Then we had like some sheet rain and torrential stuff that was just off the charts. Where you be driving and the drops were coming down so hard and so big you couldn't even see. So everybody was like,
Yeah,
"Whoa!" And then all of a sudden there'd be no rain, and then you'd have another.
yeah,
It was like, "What the heck?"
like a wall.
Yep, it's like going through a
Yep,
waterfall.
yep. It's we call them cloud bursts down here. Do you get the sea breezes come in and like get afternoon storms like we do, or no?
A lot of that stuff, it'll just be like we did get a really heavy wind. I was a little bit farther in from the coastline, but it's still the pressure rolls through and then, yeah, so you get these really heavy winds, you see all that, but the first thing I noticed was my bones because of the barometric pressure change. I can feel when a
Ah,
storm's coming. That's my weather gauge.
right.
Yep, you wake up, you feel a little sore and you're like, you know what? There might be some rain
It's gonna
coming.
rain. Yeah, there's gonna rain. I feel it in my face. I always get pressure in the front of my face from my sinuses.
Yeah, exactly. It's that same pressure that you would experience. Maybe it's similar to altitude change, but it's definitely
Yeah,
pressure in the air is changing from all of that water coming in and that pressure of wind and everything. It's very, very fascinating to me how your body can tell what's coming. Yeah.
I if you listen to it, you can hear it.
Yeah. It's
A lot
almost
of people don't listen. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, how do birds find their way? How do animals find their way? It's these internal things that they pay attention to, but we don't pay attention to because we're so
hmm
busy being distracted by everything. Susie's in the house. Heather J just showed up. Marlon's in the house. Good morning, Marlon, and everyone. We're just kind of getting a slow start here, warming up to a beautiful Saturday. And it's really great that you're here today. And Marlon, how are you, sir? He may actually be still hands on. He's doing some work right now. So,
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm right here. Yep, we're just wrapping it up here.
yeah, it's funny. The busier I get, the more, like to the minute, I am living hour by hour, minute by minute, rushing from this to that to the other thing. And it's just like, wow. Um, been having lots of phone conferences with great people, reaching out to great people. And the thing that touches me the most is the some of the connections that, like, say on the website, right? So somebody will go and look, they'll sign up. Some people tell me their story. I mean, like I see their story. They're telling me their struggles. It's very intimate, and I love it. If somebody gives me their phone number, and they give me their story, I sometimes I have to take the time to respond. I try my best to respond to everybody, give them, some heart, let them know that we're here. But also I start to reach out and I keep following them and talking to them, seeing, checking up with them, making sure that they're doing okay as much as I can, and then maybe even have a phone call. So I end up having a lot of different phone calls throughout the day, and that has accelerated to a point where I'm literally I was on the phone like up to 5 minutes before we started, for example. So it's minute by minute, hour by hour. Heather, how are you doing this morning, Heather?
Hey, I'm well. um, thank you so much for doing all that you do. And I know you've got a great team involved. And yesterday, before we left Moreland Space, we were traveling through the North Carolina mountains, so I lost my reception. But I just wanted to say, I listen a lot. I'll speak if I feel like I need to, but I like to listen because I learn so much. And in the last 2 days, I've met 4 different people who are part of y'all's spaces that live fairly close to me along the Gulf Coast area. And we're going to connect. And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm thankful for what you do. So keep up the good work.
Yeah, Heather, you have been listening and hanging out, and you've been there for a really long time. And I see the people that hang out and are with us, even if they don't speak. And I just wanted to commend you for your support in that. Not every day or every moment is the right opportunity to speak. Sometimes it's best just to listen, and you do that. And the other day when you couldn't speak, we were, we were waiting for it. We were trying. We kept handing out the mic. It just wasn't happening. And so it's funny because we really care that much. We care enough to where when somebody's having trouble like that, we're scrambling trying to figure out, okay, what is it? Is it us? Is there some trick we can share that'll get her in here, get her mic working? And sometimes it's just the reception. There's nothing we can do about it. But I could tell you we were trying our damnedest to get you up to speak. And I'm so glad.
I know. And it's all good. It's so all good. But
yeah.
I so appreciate what y'all are doing. Because this is what I've been looking for in my couple of years on Twitter, is just can talk about a lot of stuff, but we have to take action. And it sounds like we all have a little something that we contribute, that can truly make America great again. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, and the thing about Magamission is supporting people's missions. And so last night we were contacted and we're given the green light to feature Scott Presler on Magamission. He was listening last week when we did our voting space, just like this, voting strategies. We're really trying to help people figure out this equation to get to the action, the early vote action. And it's important work that Scott has been doing. I actually, I've told the story before. I've been supporting him while I was trying to figure out what my place was on Twitter, and before I could even figure out what I was going to do with the platform or what it could be used for. And it took me years to figure it out. And so I could only imagine how many people are on Twitter who are either stuck in a pattern of venting their frustration, improperly, going on spaces and using spaces improperly, or maybe not in a way that's actually going to get anything done. And, from conspiracy rooms to Q rooms to all of these things, those are all, that's very entertaining to me, but it's not a mission. It's not actually all it's bringing is, sometimes we can talk about these things, conspiracy theories, deep state theories, all this stuff. But I think it instills in people, a feeling of there's this thing against us, so we can't fight, and it doesn't actually focus on doing the work. And so that's what we're focused on, is doing the work. Not that I devalue those spaces for their entertainment value, but I was really searching my heart and meditating on this, and it takes a long time to figure it out. And just, I got to this place where I just said, no, everything else has to go, and this is how we're supposed to use Twitter. And I got really focused and I got really clear, and it was like just came to me almost from somewhere else, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I got really focused really fast. And there's Carmen Love, whom we love, is going to be joining us up here, and she's going to be helping us out, and she has a lot of great stuff. If you haven't been following Carmen Love, please follow Carmen Love. Phenomenal woman warrior of the Magamission team. We're so lucky that she reached out and saw some value and decided that she wanted to join the team. So great addition. Good morning, Carmen. When you get a mic, you get a chance. It's going to be a little bit of a lag here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt, and good morning, Marlon. Good morning, Susan, Heather, Wokes, Suze, Brill, everyone. Texas and Liz, good morning, everyone. Glad to see everyone here on this beautiful, here in North Carolina, South Carolina area, beautiful Saturday morning. I'm so excited to be part of Magamission and be a part of the Saving We the People, Save America. So God bless you all. God bless the USA. And I just wanted to say hello. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. If everybody right now in the room could just go to the comment bubble down below and kick it off by retweeting, that would be really great. You don't necessarily have to like it, but if you could retweet it, at least it gets out to the people and gets things going. A lot of people did respond to our schedule of the space, and so yeah, we want to kind of do a soft warm up here and just get to know everybody. Anybody want to take a mic? I'm going to offer it to you. Just come up and introduce yourself to me so I can get to know you on a more personable level. That would be great too. Doesn't necessarily have to be on topic. Just say hi. I kind of would really like to talk to some people and see what they're doing and how they feel about stuff. Like Susan, for example. What are you up to today, Susan?
I don't know if you were talking to me or if you were talking
Yeah.
to Susie.
Susan,
Oh.
yeah. What are you up to today? Besides, well, she doesn't have a mic yet. I'd like to give her a mic, but I don't know if she can speak. I'll send her one. Sounds like you're in the middle of torrential rains, and that's your day. You're being rained in, and maybe just staying warm and not going anywhere.
I am. I've got my books, and I'm just doing geeky stuff.
Good morning, Susie.
Good morning, Matt. How are you this morning?
I'm great. I'm just waking up myself. I got my coffee going, and yeah, just warming up to the day myself. I had a rough week. I'm just recovering.
Well, I'm just about to put on 2 different color socks and go out to the garden and start some seeds.
It's really, really important to balance your chakras with different colored socks. That's what I've heard.
Oh, cool. Well, then my chakras are going to be pink and gray today.
Yeah, no, I've heard, my mom was very metaphysical, and she was really, really, I mean, everything. It didn't matter if it was astrology or feng shui or color or chakra. I mean, she was all about that. My dad was very military. Dinner is at 6. If you miss it, you don't eat. You clean your room. He had rules and regulations because he was military. My mom was very metaphysical. She actually had I think it was she had a degree in child psychology. Started her own preschools, and her mission was to help the children. I mean, I look back, and she was so invested in that she would go and she would purchase churches that were closing down, or maybe she would purchase property, and then she started her first school there, and it was interesting. And I actually, at one point, the compound was so large that there was actually a house on that school property, and I lived there. through part of my life, like actually on the grounds of the school. So I got to see all kinds of kids and how she was able to bring them learning, create a learning center for children. And she knew what was going on with those kids, and if they were upset or if there was something going on at home. I saw the inner workings of a school and how it works, and especially from somebody who just starts it as a business, like literally from a business model to create a learning center for young children. It's really important, and there's people out there that could be doing this right now all over America, and I just don't know them, and I would love to know what their learning center is about.
Absolutely. Down in the nest, really quick, I did put to a website to earlyvoteaction.com. This is Scott Presler's, and then I also put the app that you can download on your phone, or in this Early Vote Action app, and that gets you involved. Like if if you want to help with making phone calls, if you're in a different state, and if you follow Scott Presler, if not, please do so. And give him a follow, and then like I follow him, I know what states he's in, and I go to that app or his website, but usually the app. And for example, when he was in Wisconsin, they needed help making phone calls, anything, and I'm in North Carolina, so I made lots of phone calls, etc. So it's a very good app and a very good website to go to. Scott Presler is a true patriot. Gave everything up to hit the road to save America. And so please give him a follow and check out the website of his and the Early Vote Action app in order to help, ensure that we turn swing states blue to red and get some voter registration. He's about harvest ballot voting, and registering voters like Gen Z voters. My son's doing it. Scott's actually going to be coming down to Sanford, North Carolina, and having a thing with the local GOP there and the Gen Zs, and with my son. So, guys, that's the way we can get involved, and that's just some tools to give to you guys. So, I just wanted to pass that on. Thanks, and I yield.
Well, thanks, Carm. You're talking about some apps for early voting. Have you been experienced or have any experience with the Sidekick app at all? Do you know what that is, Carm?
I do not.
So in Arizona, they devised a app that would help strengthen the voter rolls. And it's called Sidekick, and there's a couple other ones too, but the Sidekick has really gone to a lot of the government, the incumbents and people that are running. It just strengthens the voter roll. So when you're going down and you're canvassing, you can actually see, what the person's voting history is, whether he's a DR or independent. And I think this would be a really good tool for a lot of politicians coming out.
Absolutely. I really want to go check that out. I've never heard of it. So thank you, Marlon.
I think there's a lot of questions. I'll have to tell you, in my particular state, I have been voting in the same spot for 25 years. I think in 21, when I went to the polls, they actually had my birthday at 1879. So if you think about it, that was an easy way for them to strike my vote, manipulating my birth date. These are tactics. This is what's happening in my state.
Yeah. And so I'm, in our, I don't know if every state has it. I know in North Carolina, I can go after someone's voted, et cetera, go and, check your status, except, and everything. And when 2020 came around and everything kind of was coming out, it's funny you say that. I went in and me and my brother were on the phone just talking. And my mother is a Spanish citizen. My father's been dead and passed away since 1992. And you heard about all this, fraudulent voting. And I was like, I'm just going to go check out my dad's birthday, like put all his information in and check it out. And as I did that, it actually came up that he voted as a Democrat. And now we're considering that he's been dead since 1992. So I screenshotted that and I was appalled. I was just like, hold on. And, I literally had to do it twice to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. And I also went in and I checked my mother's, who is not an American citizen. She is still a Spanish citizen. And she that time when she came over 50 plus years ago, we didn't have dual citizenship, so she's getting that now, so she can participate in voting. She participates in everything else, working, taxes, etc. But I checked her, and they said, and it showed she voted Democrat, and whatever, etc. So I screenshotted that, and I went down to my local GOP, very upset, and I was able to get that information over to the correct person on the Trump organization or at the White House. And so I think it's very important that we also follow up and on our votes and see what's going on, because that literally happened. And if I can find that in my phone, I would love to post it just to prove that my father died in 92 and he actually supposedly voted, and my mother's a Spanish citizen and she supposedly voted in 2020. So that's the things that we're looking at. And that's very scary for a lot of people, and they don't come forth and talk about that. And I think that is something we definitely need to be aware of, that actually happened. It's not just, fake news. It's not somebody making up a hoax story. That happened. And I seen it with my own eyes in my own family. So I'm going to yield.
If I can, real quick, Maga, in our particular state, we are pro mail-in vote, right? So there was been an individual that lived at a house, and he's a single guy, and he got 3 mail-in ballots. Now, he didn't send them all in, but if you can imagine getting multiple mail-in ballots at that point, it's definitely a problem. Why aren't they consistent with the voter roll? That's my concern.
Yeah, and I think that's where we were in a space, I believe your space, Marlon, and the gentleman, I remember his name. He had very good points on voting, and talking about getting involved and finding out who the administrators are of in your area of the voting, and who the exact elected person that's over all of that. I believe it's the voter administrator, and I've actually just done that. I didn't even think of that. So again, we come on these spaces and we talk about voting, or we go on your space, phenomenal space. And when that was being mentioned, I was like, whoa, as long as I've been involved, I never even thought of that one little step. And so, once again, remaining open-minded, remaining teachable, always and learning something new every single day that we can do to ensure that we can lock in 2023 is what we really need to focus on. And then going into 2024, we can lock in that and then continue that work after the correct president's put into office, because what happened last time is we didn't do that we still have to be involved in our local GOP at our community levels. It's grassroots movements, guys. People complain about this, that, and the other, but the bottom line, what are you doing to get out there and get the registered voters and et cetera, and get them the information they need? And so I think it was very important when he stated those facts and he gave that information, because I didn't even think of that. And so I dove right into that as soon as your space ended. I'll yield.
Mag, I got to step away for one quick second. I got a phone call. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so back to what you were talking about, Carmen. When you're doing this and you're looking up, what would you recommend is the best location for somebody to go right to that and get to verifying that information about what you were talking about with their registration and voting and all, just with their voting status and things like that? Where are you doing that at? And I'd like to make sure that is something that I direct people to as well. If not you to help people, we'll go both ways on that. We'll have you help people, and we'll also help people find the information.
Absolutely. So, where I'm from, what I typed in is I Googled it and I, checked my voter status, and it popped in Lee County, North Carolina, and it popped up a little thing where you can put in your information. That's how I Googled it. It came up, and that's how I checked it. That was the only way I knew how at the time. And so then, but when it comes to our elected officials and stuff, I say this over and over again, and I want to continue to say it. When it comes to getting involved and wanting to get information on like who those administrators are, emailing and phone calls aren't going to work. You have to show up at your local GOP and you have to ask for this information and have it handed to you. I had, a younger, he's 22 years old. He reached out to me today. He had been emailing and calling his local GOP to get involved to register voters in his area. And he's, Carmen, what's the next step? I said, you always go in person down to the local GOP, show up and tell them you want to volunteer, because emailing and phone calling is not going to do it. It's just, it doesn't happen a lot. They ignore that. But if you're standing there in front of their face, they can't ignore you. And that's how you get started. And so getting that kind of information, go in person. If you're not sure on how you're checking for your vote to go through, I went online, and I also went down to the GOP, and after the voting polls were closed and everything, and I got information that was printed out for me as well, because I demanded it. It's my right. And so I want to see this stuff, and I want you to print it out. I want to make sure my vote was submitted. I want to make sure it was entered and submitted and it went through. And so I will ask, I'll ask for that information, but I always do everything in person, because to me, that's the only way and the right way to do it. I yield. I hope that answers what you were asking, Matt.
Well, yeah. I mean, I see sites all over, and then I see, that you could type in by state. You could go to USA.gov. You can check your registration status. You can check all of these things. But what you did was you took it to another level. I mean, a lot of people will just go, okay, there it is. I'm good. I don't need to do anything. So what you did was you actually took it to a personable level, getting the data in your hand, requesting it. And that's interesting to me, because I could see a lot of people. The reason why I brought it up is because I could see a lot of people just doing like what the normal person would do, is just Google it, right? And then you go to your state, you check it, but you went the extra step, which I find to be really a great idea for people to do. It takes some work, but as far as an action item in your life, it might be one that you need to do if you really want to verify, get the paperwork and see what comes out, when you go down and see what happens. But that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and thank you. But I mean, when I was pregnant with my first child, my eyes opened, and I was like, whoa. And it was like involved. That's a gift from God to me, is to have a child, be blessed with a healthy child. God blessed me with a gift. And so that's when I started getting involved in the community, learning about the local GOP, learning about the school board, the elections, your elected officials, et cetera, things like that. But I don't see, it's the same thing as if you have a job and you're wanting to talk to your boss about a serious issue. Excuse me, guys, I got a peppermint in my mouth. You want to talk to your boss about a serious issue, yet you email them. Compared to talking to them in person, it's going to be more impressionable. You're going to get more information. You're going to be in person eye to eye, and you're going to be ensured that you're being heard. And so that's how I've always looked at things, especially when it comes to the political side and ensuring that things are being done in my community and in your community. It doesn't stop at my community. I'll show up at the next community and so forth in a different state, because I think it's important that we show up in person and we get that information. At that point, they can't shut us down. We can't be censored. And they have to provide that. That is our right. And so I think that that's where the grassroots movement, the local level, comes in place. Is getting involved means getting outside of your comfort zone, getting uncomfortable, and going and finding out what your comfort is. And I haven't found my comfort. I've kind of been uncomfortable all along, but I get more comfortable and comfortable the more I do. And so, and I continue to learn, but showing up in person is to me is the only way to do it, and taking that extra step. We want to save America. We want to save our children. We want to honor our vets. We want to honor the fact that we have elderly, we have homeless in our in the world, in our country. So in order to ensure that that stuff is being taken care of, I think we have to go in person down to our local GOP, and all of that starts at the local level, registering voters, etc., getting involved and checking in person about your voting.
That's a great answer. I think a lot of people need to follow those footsteps. First step, make sure you check your voter registration, make sure everything's correct, verify your vote, and act locally. That's great. We got some new people that just showed up. It's just me, Black Shadow, Lori, Brill, and I see Texas Snow down there. Liz, I see you a lot, and Constitution is here. Constitution, would you like to take a mic and just say hi to us and say something to the group? That'd be great. And Heather, you can always stay on the panel if you like. I see Phil down there. So it's great to see people coming in. Like I said early on, we're just kind of doing a slow start here, getting the room going. If you can retweet the room to get the room fired up so that we can get going, that would be great. And thank you for showing up. And if you want to come up and say hi, just even say good morning, that would be great as well. We like to get to know people on a personal level and connect. Good morning, Caroline. I'd like to bring you up and have a discussion with you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a little bit here.
So, Matt, Maggie, I think you touched on something that I think that would be our very first step, is to check our voter registrations. I think that's a super important, just like my case where the birthday was messed up. I think this is just a tactic by them to be able to discount our votes, right? And I still don't understand why we can't produce a receipt for our vote. If I was in office, that's what I would be advocating for, some kind of receipt.
Marlon, absolutely. And I just wanted to backpedal. I hope I didn't overtalk you. I think it's lagging a little bit. If I do,
no, you're good. You're good.
I apologize, but I do that, Matt. That was a very good point. Is in registering. I mean, ensuring that you're registered. And my son, I think that that was something he asked, Mom, how do I do this? How do I, and I'm thinking, you didn't get asked when you went and got your license, hold on, what happened? And that step, that was not even asked. And so, and he's 23. He got his license at 16. That was so many years ago. They weren't even asking. So, at that point, as soon as he told me that, I'm like, boom, own it. We have got to fix those little things that are going to get people registered, because that should be asked when you go and get your license and go down to the DMV. They ask me, they just didn't ask him. And so that was one step that they missed, but that is a very important step. And then ensuring that we're, educating our younger generation and myself, as I got educated the other day in Marlin's Space, about voter registration and checking your own voter registration, and also getting involved to register voters and ensuring that it's going through, and they are comfortable and know that they are registered, and etc. But I think that's a great point. That is a first step. So thanks for following up on that, Matt. I'll yield.
Well, it's so important that as we were talking, I'm literally going to the website editor right now, and that is on my list of things to do right now. I'm not going to wait another second. Aside from subscribing to Magamission and all that, I want to make sure that people do that action and do not delay in doing that. And I encourage everyone to do that. Part of what we've been doing, Carmen and myself and Marlon, when we have discussions, it's always about staying on focus, about the general mission and direction. And the focus is to bring certain people that their missions are having an impact throughout the nation, and bringing them to yet another portion of internet presence. Christian Lamar is somebody who was gracious enough to have the faith in Magamission to allow us to support him. And we're doing our best to do that. I don't know if anybody's seen any action of that on Twitter, but those are the things that Magamission is about, is like when we're working with the National Operators Association, or NOAA, we're getting poised to assist them with weekly and monthly membership meetings. So our hosts are a support group in a way for all of these other people and organizations and their missions. And what we try to do is support them in any way that we can, either with an internet presence. We'll be doing some other things like podcasts and videos and other things where we'll allow them to post material, the Substack, all that stuff. So all this groundwork is being laid down right now so that we can first establish a good internet presence, then begin to use that to help their mission along, from people that are running for House or for Senate, or trying to help the truckers, or, this is a work in progress. But when we discuss things, we're always focused on cutting away anything that doesn't focus on the mission, and working on a very focused direction, and that's the way that we have to operate, because there isn't time to waste. There isn't time to go down. And that's the other reason why, conspiracy stuff and all that stuff, it's all great, but it's just not, it's distracting from my mission, and all that stuff is great information. I'll take it into consideration, but I'm focusing on a task, a very specific goal here. Marlon, sorry, yes.
So, we're talking about capturing the vote for the average citizen, but what about, and maybe we should go over this maybe a little bit later, but the things and obstacles that people need to know when they want to run for office, signature procedure, the Board of Elections, this may be something that we should go over a little bit later.
Yeah, the other thing is that we are the constituents. I mean, and that needs to be, there's specific wording that cannot be denied when you approach local legislators or county to state. You're a constituent, and your voice needs to be heard. But everybody that's out there, they are people. They have a phone number. You can reach them. And what's really great about Twitter, what I'm excited about, is that some of these brave people that are running these persons are actually putting themselves out there on Twitter, and they're actually engaging the public. And it's that kind of dialogue that we have never really had. I mean, we had it, but it might have been in a forum where it really couldn't happen the right way. You know, I think that this is going to allow them a forum where they can actually talk to the people can talk to them, and that is a big goal for us to bring that to the forum. Yes. So great.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that, and then also our local too, right? So I would like to see our county commissioners on there, and this is definitely a target for us. This way, the average person can actually reach out and touch this person through Magamission or even through their own local contacts, right? We just need to bring them to the forefront and actually who's running in our particular states. So that's definitely an action call.
Yeah, it was, and not to just focus on the Senate and the House, but the county legislators. That's a huge portion. And so what we've done is we've created a 50-state directory, quick link to these people. For example, if you go to our link on House and you go to Arizona, there's Christian Lamar. If you go to New Jersey, and our goal is to put, have a representative in each slot in each state. And like I said, we just started. We've only been fired up for a month now, and we've been reaching out, not even a month. So we've been reaching out to everybody as quickly as we can and encouraging them to get on the mission. And, the internet has been used against us in a way that we know that the internet and all social platforms across the internet has been used to silence or censor. And what I've been trying to do is create an internet presence that does not get censored by being really focused in what we put on the internet, and then by creating links and things that if you were to type in Magamission or something, well, guess what? Christian Lamar comes up, or just another step towards using the internet as a tool for success instead of allowing it to be used as a tool against us, or against the voice of the people. And that's been a really big goal of mine, is to make sure that as we grow and as we build, I want to make sure that we create that algorithm, if you will, across the internet that really reaches out to America, brings everybody in, and gets all of these things in one spot so that it's a tool that you can use to help you. That's really the key core here. Caroline, how are you doing this morning? Good to have you.
Good, Matt. Yeah, I'm doing good. Pretty energized. I had a little teeny room this morning, just an impromptu. Marlon was there. So I'm good. I'm good. Got a lot of great ideas that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys. Back channeling, because some of it we do a lot of things over, right? But there are some things that we're going to have to do covertly, and everybody has, a specialty, and I have a specialty too. Being as my connections and being railroaded off the ballot twice has its. I refuse to say that it's something bad that happened, because I will take what happened and I will use it for absolute good. I will use it to help another candidate. So I will help them I will help them be able to fight back against some of the strongest powers that be. I mean, I almost won, not necessarily the race, but I almost won the battle against these really, really hardcore, heavy people. And that's just me on my own. Imagine if I would have had all of you people. Okay. So I am willing to work with other people and let them have what I had to learn, but that's fine. It's good. I'm willing to do that. So I'm very excited. I'm liking the people in Magamission. Personally, I'm like.
Your audio kind of went out there for me at the end there. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
So everyone's got a mission, but we want our ultimate goal to be restoring our republic, correct?
Yes. Carolyn, can you hear me, hon?
I can. Did you hear me?
Now your audio went out, and I thought we were having a little bit of lag there. I lost the last little bit that you said, but I'm sure I saw a thumbs up, and it was probably great.
Well,
But yeah.
let me repeat it. I said, that it seems to be that everybody's keeping their individuality, their specialty, but that they're all collectively going in the same direction, which is to restore our republic. And so that's what I find attractive about it. And I'm excited. I feel good about it. Thanks. And I never say I exit horribly. I'll get better. I promise. I always just, mute the mic. So I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm still working on my landing back in my nest myself. I oftentimes land on a branch instead of back in the nest. Sometimes I swoop down occasionally, grab a little snack. I go back and stay silent for a little bit, But I want to support you, and things have been going so fast. I honestly have to say that I haven't overlooked you. It's just that I can only enter in so much data at a time, and what I'm trying to do is to build a foundation slowly, methodically. If I've made a mistake in my direction, I pull it back and I redirect. Like today, I did a lot of different work to the site. I had a privacy policy that I created a link to a separate place to find it. What I'm trying to say is I'm really consolidating and trying to make the Magamission a quick way for you to get not only into the spaces on Twitter, follow the people and follow the message, because we do spaces like almost 24 hours a day. And so I'm trying to connect people in that way, just to the information within 2 clicks. I want people to just get to what they need right away. The very first thing I want people to do is sign up to Magamission. And why I want that is because if Twitter goes down, if we are censored again, at least we have a mailing list or an email list that allows us to always say, hey, if something big is going on, like something big is going on, I want to send out an email to all the members and say, hey, this is going on. You can go and check this out. We really want to bring the people here. Go there. Or, hey, Twitter has crashed, but don't be worried. You can still find us over here, there. So it's really to just make sure we keep those connections. That's what the subscription and the membership is really for. When we start getting down the road to Substacks and all Substack releases and all that stuff, as we get going, it's just going to get more and more dynamic. So people onboarding now, just know that we're working on it, and we're really, really honing the site and consolidating. And in the excitement when I first started, it was just like, oh, let's just throw it all out there. And as we keep going forward and we enter into the political arena and things like that, there's going to be trimming it down, consolidating, and make it way more focused. I can't wait to get started with Noah. I can't wait to get started with some of this other information. I encourage everybody to go to Scott Presler's bio, check it out, play around, push buttons. Even his picture has a link. I put so many links in there that you can register to vote. You can invite Scott to an event. You can learn how to become an advocate for the vote and get active with early vote action on the ground level. And you can get the training you need to do this work. He's created a model for you to just follow and create your own mission to do the same thing. So he's training people. And Carmen is getting excited. Yes, Carmen, let me land it and hang out in my nest for a little while and shut up.
I mean, I was going to say, you could just say I'm landing in my nest, because of your avatar. But anyway, so, and we'll discuss the avatar and Twitter court later. But anyway, so I do get excited. I get so excited when we speak about Scott Presler, and it's not Scott Presler himself, but it is. Okay, we're talking about a one man army. That's one person that started in he started before, but he left everything behind. 2014 he left his life behind and hit the road, and to see the progression and the things that he has done, the grassroots movement. I mean, that's someone that you can follow, also support and learn. And when I say he is so open to giving out information, if you have a question, you DM him, give him some time, but he will contact you back. He is there. He says it. If you have any questions, anything to deal with anything, hit me up, DM me this, that. I will help you. Yesterday, Scott called. We talked for a few hours on the phone. He was on his way traveling. It was an amazing conversation. I've met Scott before, etc. But Scott Presler he is the true example of what we speak of when we say grassroots movement, getting involved in your local level. So I'm not putting him on a pedestal, because that is not how Scott wants it. But there's someone we can follow the lead, and then you go to his website and you learn those steps, as Matt's saying. And I started this before Scott came out, and then when Scott came out and he was doing the trash pickup and all that, I was like, what is he doing? And honestly, I'm like, wow. And I looked at it a totally different way. And so I have followed him all the way. And that's amazing to me. But today, he's not a one man army. He is a million and millions of army, because we're all, I know myself, let me speak for myself, and a lot of others are all standing with him in what he's doing. And now we have access, because of technology, to be able to assist in what he's doing. And he's doing it for we the people. He's doing it to save America. He's doing it to save your cities, your states, and we have to back him and get involved. And he's just that example. And so he's been a great example to me. And he's taught me like certain verbiage when you say going and speaking to your senators and your local, your legislators, representatives locally, councilmen. There is certain verbiage that you need because you want to be taken seriously. But at the end of the day, as it was put, you are you, and you still are an American citizen. So as long as you have the information in hand and you go approach them in person, be you, and put the passion behind it. Put your emotions to the side and focus on the mission at hand. And that is what I have learned. And I'm proud and I'm grateful that I am part of Magamission. I am proud and grateful that I am part of Saving America as a one individual when it comes to a we the people. And I always say we the people are actually the storm. We the people are the ones that are going to save our republic. And so getting involved in your local community and registering voters, guys, right now. 2023, let's not focus on 2024. We need to focus on 2023 and start right now and win and get 2023 locked in. So we go into 2024 feeling very confident. And I will yield, Matt, and hand it over.
So real quick, Matt, any exposure I ever had to Scott, and realistically, it was in Matt's spaces a couple of times. He was very willing with the information. He was always very upfront and told you how it was. And, I do respect him. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting him intermingled in the community. It would be good.
Well, let's talk about the tactics and some of the things that have occurred. So when we look at the past election, where things went for the worst or for the change we're experiencing right now, a lot of Americans or a lot of people waited until the day of to cast their vote and do it in person. And then we had problems with the machines, and it became a huge debacle. I don't know if anyone remembers it. It was all over the news. If you saw it, it took months, it took days, weeks, whatever, to tally the votes. It got out of hand really fast. And that to me is just inexcusable, really. I mean, it really makes no logical sense why that would ever occur or could ever occur. I don't focus on the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. I focus on what occurred. Okay, the fact that it did occur means that something needs to change in our tactics when it comes to voting. And one of the things that early vote action really is about is encouraging people to vote early. That way your vote is already baked in. It's already in and done. And also the fact that it's going through federal mail, it does create a chain, or because it's going through the process it's going through, it does create a chain of custody when you're doing it that way. The document actually, not that your vote at the actual place of voting wasn't protected, but it actually creates a chain of custody for that, and that's really important too, to secure your vote. But doing it early means that there's no scramble at the end, trying to make the machines work and standing in long lines, and having the pinch point and the backup of all the people trying to vote and get in. I wanted to turn back to Caroline and say and confirm something. You are running. You are going to be running and continue your campaign.
Well, we're in the works in it. We are looking over all the pluses and minuses. So we're looking over all the pluses and minuses. We are working in a fashion that suits the American people and my district, our district first, because these are slick people that we're dealing with here. So we're kind of doing things in a different fashion this time, because we know that they don't win anything. They stop other people from winning. And what they do in my district, I can't speak for all districts because I don't know them all. I can only speak for my district and on a fact-based, not what I think, but fact is what they do for a fact is they basically pay to have the candidates that they want, including the Democrat candidates. So we're working with that and what will best suit my district. So that's what we're doing. And I'm going to leave that there because we'll back channel. Okay. And yeah, so, but don't worry about giving me light on that Magamission right now. I'm willing to work without being, I don't need the, I would appreciate retweets and, follow me on spaces and things like that. But don't worry about promoting me too much right now, because most people in my district do know me anyway. And, I come with some baggage because I've got that deep stater that I'd be going against. So, and I'd rather not put a target on Magamission just yet until they are better suited to defend itself, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I just wanted to know your position, and I think that if somebody were to click on, their state, that it would be important to direct them to you and your campaign if you decide to make a direction, just like we did with Christian Lamar, making sure that you're placed in the right spot. And that's totally fine. But let's go back to the term MAGA again, and Magamission in general. You talk about putting a target on something. Okay. When I embarked on this and when we started going down this road, one of the things in my mind was, I had already heard, even let's back up. I titled the space Magamission, just titled it. And I had an associate say, I can't be here because that term puts a target on me. And so this word, target, and associated with MAGA or Magamission in general, just the word MAGA, it comes up a lot. And when we entered into this, I think everybody on the team, we've had discussions at it at length. We already have a target on us as Americans. We already have a target on us as conservatives, We already have a target on us. As soon as we start talking about Make America Great Again, the target on us is something that when you do embark on this, it is something that occurs, but I'm not going to be silenced or be afraid of that.